New details now on the case of an Oklahoma woman accused of ramming her car into a crowd at Oklahoma State University's homecoming parade last month, killing 4 people. A blood alcohol analysis reportedly showing that 25-year-old Adacia Chambers was not intoxicated. Chambers faces 4 counts of second-degree murder and 46 counts of assault and battery. Prosecutors say their evidence suggests it was, quote, an intentional act. Joining me now, David Schwartz, defense attorney and former prosecutor, and Misty Maris, trial attorney. Good to see you both.
Thanks, Arthel.
Yes,
Hello.
David, I'll start with you on this. What kind of evidence would cause prosecution to deem this intentional?
Well, certainly the evidence is very clear. The car purposely rammed into this group of people, killing 4 people and injuring others. So the fact of the matter that the car rammed in, there was a reversal of the car, rammed again, and there may be other evidence that we don't know about right now. I'm curious to see what the motive is.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm sitting here going, what would cause someone to do that? But
Right. You know, well, interestingly, Arthel, have been some reports that the defendant may have been suicidal. So there could be something that, hey, maybe this is a suicide at everyone else's peril, of course, which it by no means would make this justifiable, but could serve as a motive.
I know you're not suggesting that, but I'm thinking if you're going to kill yourself, go kill yourself and don't harm other people or kill other people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, I know that being suicidal is a very horrible illness or something that could lead to that. But anyway, moving on. How does this affect the defense case, David?
Well, I mean, certainly I think we're being set up for an insanity defense here. It's very clear that the defense is setting up this defense, that there was a mental disease and the defendant didn't know the difference between right and wrong and didn't understand the nature and consequences of her actions. And that's what they're going to be arguing to the jury as an affirmative defense.
That is most definitely where the defense is going. And you can see from the way they're setting it up, they're asking for additional funds to be set aside for medical experts. And that's what it will hinge on. Although the insanity defense is always really hard, especially with the type of death that occurred in this particular case, you're going to have a hard time selling a jury on that one.
So how will this now affect the way the prosecution is going to approach the case?
The prosecution's looking back and looking at every step along the way. As David said, one of the main facts is this woman rammed the car through the barricade, stopped, backed up. I mean, if you're talking about the insanity defense, you have to say that you didn't understand the nature and nature of your actions, you didn't understand the consequences. The prosecution's going to break down every moment and every act that she took leading up into the deaths of these people.
And you mentioned trying to get medical experts to testify. What about her medical records? Are they going to start looking into that, her defense team?
Her entire background, her defense team, everybody's going to be looking into her medical records, her entire background. It all becomes relevant. It all was the writing on the wall here. There's also an affirmative defense in Oklahoma of the state of unconsciousness, too. And that could play a role here as well, depending on what the facts are.
Right, because they're going to be showing what was her mental state at the time of the incident.
Yeah, and they're going to call all those employees and employers who were at that her restaurant that she was working at. So now if this case is now a criminal act, what about the civil suits that may follow, and who may bear the brunt of that?
Well, we're going to see a lot of civil suits coming from this. I mean, there were 4 deaths, so you're going to have wrongful death actions coming against her. They're going to be suing her. Unfortunately, she might not have funds to fund a settlement, but that doesn't mean the civil suits won't go forward. Yeah. They won't be looking for some sort of judgment and some sort of justice in such a terrible situation.
It's really horrible.
The plaintiff's attorney, they're going to be looking for a deep pocket in this case. So they're going to be looking closely at Oklahoma State University to see if they could be a defendant, because they're going to want the deep pocket to get money for the plaintiff.
And it's also, it's a car accident at the end of the day. So if, say, she does escape criminal liability somehow, they may look to insurance companies relating to the car and car insurance.
But it's limited. The caps are limited on
100%.
those. So.
I mean, how are they going to go after the university? They're having a parade.
Well, depending on what the university knew or should have known, I'm speculating.
Well, yeah,
now.
we're just
speculating. So maybe the writing was on the wall, and the university should have done more to protect the people at the parade. That would be the theory. I'm not sure if it's going to work.
You know that's a stretch, though, right?
It
Yes.
certainly is.
That's what we do. We stretch them.
We look for everything. We try and make any argument we can.
Yeah. Well, Misty Maris, David Schwartz, thank you very much. It is really, really, really horrible and sad that those people lost their lives in the process.
Absolutely. It's horrible.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Eric?
Thank you, Arthel.
Well, Arthel, the